Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Castaway Anime. I'm Neon Manta,
And I'm Crunchy Bagels.
and today we're continuing our coverage of the final season of The Owl House, going over For the Future. And if you want to help secure our future, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, like the video, head on down to the comments to let us know what you think about The Owl House and other shows we should cover on Castaway Anime, all 10 of you viewers, because we know you don't watch this one.
I mean, hey, maybe we can pull a surprise recovery and get, get this, 20 views instead of the usual 10.
Well, to be fair, the Thanks to Them podcast actually did break 100, but still, I think it is considered an underperformance at the rate we are with the channel now. So I'm looking for probably another 100.
So basically, viewer, that's your cue to share it with everyone you know who's a fan of the Owl House. Give us more views. This is an order, by the way. You don't have a choice. Free will is a lie.
Your free will is in fact an illusion. Just like how, hey, the characters, the denizens of the Boiling Isles are stripped of their free will by the collector. Ha, we tied it in.
Nailed it. So,
yeah.
I guess I got a sample of your take on this finale, but I want to hear you elaborate on it a little more. How do you think this compares to A, the rest of the show, and B, the first part of the finale?
You look fun. Wanna play?
Let's see. Well, first of all, we gotta address the big flying demon elephant in the room. Now in observance of, respecting the release dates and the creator's wishes, this episode is going to go live the day after the episode comes out on, I believe it's coming out the 21st of January. And then this episode is going to go up the 22nd of January, but today is January the 13th. Now, how are we able to talk about an episode that hasn't officially come out yet? You might
We're
be
time travelers.
Honestly, I believe Dana and the crew wish that were the answer. Long time Disney TV animation fans will remember a very special episode of Amphibia called True Colors, which was the season 2 finale, and widely regarded to be not only the best episode of Amphibia, but probably one of the best episodes of any cartoon ever made. I think it's like a masterpiece. A lot of Amphibia fans think so, a lot of animation fans think so. Unfortunately, it had the horrible fate of being leaked online by Disney themselves. There was no malicious outside force trying to sneak into the mouse archives, into the big old Disney vault with the Mickey Mouse shaped spinner on the front. No, this was an oopsie poopsie from Disney, because they had the episode released to iTunes for the briefest amount of time, because I guess they just didn't check when they were gonna release the episode, and it came out in Canada, I think. It was in a region that I don't believe was America, but the episode was released on iTunes early. It got taken down, but by the time people realized it was too late, they grabbed the episode off iTunes and shared it all around in perfect HD quality online. And let's just say this is True Colors 2 Electric Boogaloo.
And once again at the finale, what kind of coincidence is that?
It's well, there's some Owl House fans that are busting out the tinfoil from their cupboards and being like, I can't help but wonder what if this is a Disney self-sabotage? Like, because the show is already going out the door, so, and we already are painfully aware of what Disney as a whole thinks of the Owl House. I wonder if this is their final fuck you to Dana, is what the conspiracy theorists are saying. I think it's just general incompetency. I don't think even Disney is that fucking petty, because at the end of the day, they're still gonna try to maximize profit and viewership from the show. It's still their IP.
Okay, but think of it this way. If it is one final fuck you to the Owl House, that would be so funny. I would not
I
be
mean,
able
it is
to
the
stop
funnier
laughing.
story to believe. Yeah, like it's so like you don't want to believe that the multi-billion-dollar conglomerate is that petty to what is ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, no matter how much we suck its dick and how much we praise it as one of the best things to ever be associated with the Disney name, is kind of not that big in when you consider the sphere of influence that is Disney. But like,
I mean, yeah, they own a lot of things. They are
yeah, they can
a
make
nigh
one shitty MCU movie that makes up probably like 100 Owl Houses in terms of profit margin.
I mean, I have
So,
no
yeah.
idea what their earnings look like, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, so regardless of the circumstances or who is if there was foul play involved, I go on. It happened. You know what the damnedest thing was? It happened the day of its announcement. Like we fans had pieced together the excuse me. Fans had pieced together the release date of the episode through TV Guide updates that confirmed it before the official confirmation from Disney themselves. But literally the same fucking day that Dana like announces it herself, hey, this is when Owl House is coming back. Here's a poster to commemorate the occasion for the future, January 21st. Get excited. The same fucking day, Disney's like, oops, I spilled my Owl House Season 3 Episode 2 for the future all over this Canadian iTunes page. Oh no, I'm trying to...
Was it the Canadian iTunes page again?
I think it was. I might be getting my sources mixed up on the Amphibia one, but I'm pretty sure they got it from the Canadian one this time. And I know that only because it's a more recent event. And boy howdy, is it if I had a nickel for every time an episode of a Disney animated show, a very important one, very spoiler heavy finale type episode got leaked onto Canadian iTunes well ahead of its official release, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
What's going on in Canada that causes this?
But I don't know. It's like Genie from the Fairly Odd Parents said himself. The Canadians had it too good for too long. We gotta strike them down while they still have the power, before they become too powerful.
You heard that right, Canadians listening right now. We don't respect
Yeah, this
you.
is not. Yeah, this is not. The
this is
Castaway
your
anime
fault.
is not a safe space for Canadians.
You caused this. I don't care what you say. It is your fault, objectively speaking. And I will stand by that for the rest of time.
Yeah, so we might have done a little we've done some devilish deeds. We snuck cantankerously toward the devilish deed of maybe, perhaps, sorta, kind of downloading the episode offline and watching it before the episode came out in Minecraft.
I mean, in fairness, you have a pretty good reason for it, because you were already spoiled on something from scrolling Twitter before you had downloaded the episode.
Imagine my surprise when I go on Twitter. I'd already seen that the poster got announced, and I think the episode came out like an hour or two after online. So imagine my surprise when I'm opening up Twitter again to see like, oh boy, the Owl House fandom finally has some fucking food to eat. Let's see what they think about the poster or how hyped they are. Huh, that's funny. TOH spoilers is trending. But it's just a poster. That surely they cannot consider a poster to be spoilers. So, curiously, I clicked on the trend, only to be greeted with an image of Luz's Palisman. And I'm like, at first I think, wow, that's a pretty cool fan drawing. And then I see the same frames being shared around as I scroll a little bit more. I'm like, these how do they get these? And then I do a little digging. Episode got leaked. I'm like, God damn. And so immediately I scrambled to go look for the episode online because, listen, I know we're not supposed to feed into the behavior, but I can't avoid spoilers for 3 weeks, dude. I just can't. I
I
have
mean,
my
not gonna lie, bro, that sounds like a bit of a skill issue. I avoided them just fine.
Hey man, all right. Well, I'm on Twitter way more than you, so
That is fair. I use Twitter like once a day for 5 minutes.
yeah, I use Twitter every day. I use Instagram almost every day, and my Instagram recommended feed is like 75% Owl House stuff. So it would have made its way onto my feed sooner rather than later, and I did not want to run the risk of like something really fucking cool happening and getting spoiled for it.
This is why you don't use Twitter. Just yet another reason as
I don't know, man.
to hate Twitter.
Boshi the Rock has like validated my Twitter use, if anything. Because there's just nothing but good content, especially from people like me.
You bring up a fair point.
Twitter content for Bochi.
That is a good point. There's a lot of good Bochi fan art / pornography.
Okay, well, that's neither here nor there. But hey, even Dana herself agrees about the artwork porn. Don't know her stance on the porn thing, but even just today, when we're recording this, Dana put out her own fan drawing of Bochi and Kita.
Wait, she did? Give it to me. Mid-show. I don't care if we have to pause it. I need to see this right now.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes.
You commented on it.
Wait.
Did you think that was a manga panel that I shared?
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Clearly, you have not read the Bochi manga then.
No, I haven't even looked at it.
Did you not see the watermark in the bottom right corner of Dana Terrace's signature?
No.
No, Dana fucking drew that.
Well, it was good art. All right.
Yeah, real recognized real.
Dana is awesome.
Yeah, the best cartoon of the year and the best anime of the year coming together. Now we gotta come full circle and have Hamaki Aji or whatever draw Luz and Amity.
It must be done. God, that'd be such a great crossover.
I need to see Luz kiss Amity on the cheek and then Amity glitch out of existence.
Now that you're mentioning that, yeah, I need that too. But enough about Bochis and rocks. Episode. What do you think?
It's time to talk about the episode itself. Right off the bat, off rip, not as good as Thanks to Them. And while it's still a good episode overall, I am starting to I'm tugging at the collar right now. I'm starting to think you know how like they said they're going to have to start rushing the show in order to like meet the finale in order to like have a satisfying conclusion. I'm starting to feel it. I feel like what could have spanned like an entire arc of the show had to be truncated into one double-length episode.
At the very least, we're at the collector's, I guess, place of his lair right now, and at least that gives us a decent amount of time for the final episode to, maybe flesh out that confrontation. But yeah, you're kind of right. There's a lot of this episode. Like the first episode of this finale, I think was still very, very solid because we still, even if it is obviously truncated to a certain extent, I think we still spent enough time to get a feel for what the gang's life was like on Earth and to get some like very intriguing plot points. But here, it's very much a list of, all right, and then, there's this thing that should have been an entire episode, but hey, we're gonna blast through it in 5 minutes because we don't got time for that. And then do this thing that would have been an entire episode, just going down the checklist as quickly as possible. What I hope is that this is like the sacrificial lamb for the third episode to shine. That's my hope, but
yeah,
for now,
that's what I'm holding on to as well. I do have faith that they could stick the landing, but I'm coming off of the high of one of the best episodes in the show, thanks to them. And now going into this, it's just like I'm just there's some beads of sweat that are starting to form and run down the old forehead.
I will say, even though it is very much rushed and very much a checklist, I am still thankful that they get some chances to have some very funny jokes. Like, uh, literally when Am- Willow is basically like consoling Gus, or no, was it Gus or was it Hunter? I don't know. But she was consoling someone and she was like, yeah, that one time I forgot to chain up my abomination homework.
Yeah,
And
it was
Luz's mom.
Gus.
Yeah. And Luz is like, or yeah, Luz's mom is like, wait, you guys have to chain up your homework?
Yeah.
That got a laugh out of me. And I'm definitely thankful for the jokes to keep it feeling like, even if it is a checklist, there's at least some stuff that isn't strictly just going through the plot and that serves to liven up the episode.
Yeah, the big thing that I was like at first like really fucking excited about, and then when saw what they did with it, got like real fucking sad, was they brought back Basha. Basha is now a central character for the first time since season 1. Like season 2 she showed up and had a few like moments when like we see her getting her Palisman, talking to Luz and Amity for like the briefest of moments, but she's never had like the spotlight put on her since the Grudgeby episode in season 1, and now she's back in the forefront as the de facto head of the resistance against the Collector at Hexside.
Yeah, I feel like if we had more time, uh, that probably would have been an entire episode, honestly. Because it is a really interesting plot point, I think, to flesh out this character who has been pretty much solely antagonistic the entire show so far.
Yeah, and she has connections to two of our central cast members, fucking Amity and Willow. So we could see, especially the thing I was most excited to see was how Basha came like crawling back to Amity, like begging her to come back to her friend group after she left them for to go hang out with Luz and Willow and the gang. But they brush over it for like what would have made for like an great like emotional episode that would like a full length episode is like done and dealt with in the span of like maybe 2 minutes at most.
It's a very jam-packed episode, but it doesn't really... I won't say it doesn't flesh anything out at all, because that would be misleading, but it's like, it could be so much more. Screw the rat, once again.
I've heard from I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I've heard from some TV sources that the final episode of the Owl House is going to be like 10 minutes longer than like the standard 44-minute thing that they have right now. So maybe they're gonna get like a little. Maybe they had like a little more time to do some put some good content in there to fill out the time. But like boy howdy, I hope they use every second of it, because we're down to our last episode of the Owl House. There's one left in existence, and once it's done, it's done. There will be no more Owl House ever, unless they make another one. But you know what? For now, ever.
Very sad prospect as a fan of the show, but hey. Yeah, it feels like, just watching the episode, that this would have been like, it feels like they condensed far more potential episode ideas in this one than the last one, because think about just how much happens in this episode. We start off, they go back to the demon realm and they're like, yo, we're here, and then they very quickly, they see that everything's like all sparkly because the Collector has taken over and turned everyone into puppets. And I imagine that could have been an episode right there of them exploring the Boiling Isles now that it's taken over by the Collector, and just sinking in, like soaking in the devastation and having it sink in for the characters. But we move immediately to Hexside, which is also completely different. And I feel like that could have been an episode where we get such a good feel for the dynamic. Maybe that's when we would have, gotten that entire episode about Basha and Amity, and, Basha wanting, being desperate for Amity to stick with her again. But once again, just brushed over. King and the Collector, their dynamic has to be brushed over. All right, can we talk about how criminal it is? How so the Collector's character, he is not bad, right? I like him.
He's just like, he is what we were saying that he was from the end of season 2. He's less of like an actively evil antagonistic force, but he is more well, he's less that. He's more of kind of a bratty kid who just happens to have godlike powers.
Yeah, his whole conflict is that he's very lonely and, wants someone to play with. But in his mind, playing is turning everyone into mannequins and, just making them do things because he needs people. He's sort of tyrannical in that regard, where he needs everyone to follow his orders.
Yeah, he has no regard for the sanctity of life. So, and like, it's quite life is like, and people are quite literally his playthings.
Yeah, he's lonely, but at the same thing, he turns people into puppets and moves them around because he can't have them disobeying him or doing things they aren't supposed to, because he needs his games to go his way. And the only person who he considers to be a friend is King. And King is the one person who he doesn't just treat. I mean, granted, he's still very ordering King around and sort of tyrannical in that regard. But, King has to follow his orders in order to not get turned into a puppet. And there's also Amity's mom, who is also not a puppet, but has to follow all of his orders.
Yeah, she's like the housekeeper of the archives.
She's so sick of it, and it's so satisfying to witness.
How does it feel to be under the control of an abusive authority figure?
Oh yeah, serves you right. Now you're the abused one.
How does it feel being the victim? Being the meme?
God, this podcast got so dark. But yeah, she's also there and not turned into a puppet. But yeah, like, the Collector sort of regards King as his sole friend. I guess in his mind, it's that he doesn't really realize that, hey, to have friends, you need to treat people kindly and not instantly turn them into puppets. And instead, to him, it's like King is his only friend because, oh, hey, he goes along with everything I say, and I don't have to turn him to a puppet, so I guess I won't. I guess I'll trust him to just follow orders and be my friend in that regard.
Yeah, he gets all jealous of Luz whenever he mentions her. And it's like, but I thought I was your best friend. What was this human tranche got that I don't?
But at the same time, all right, the Collector, I still maintain, I like him. I like the idea behind his character. I think he has a fun presence, fun powers. The scene of him literally turning everyone into mannequins is Kino. I absolutely love it. It's such a unique way to display how he views the world. And it's very, it gives the show and the villain a distinct texture, which is good, especially when you're truncating the plot to this extent, to have a villain with such a distinct texture. But god damn it, every time Belos is on screen, I'm enraptured. And every time the Collector is on screen, I am merely enjoying myself. My mind is occupied and I am intrigued. But when Belos is on screen, it's like, I see which villain is carrying the show much harder.
Poor Collector gets outshined by Belos in his own episode. Like, you can't help but hold the L on this one. The first thing, literally the first thing we see Belos do, which is like, at first you think, is going to be like a big oh shit moment where he's slinking back to his lair. He's seeing visions of Caleb with a bloody knife hanging over him, almost like a goddamn Sims icon. And he says nothing. The ghosts never say anything. We see the ghost of Caleb and all the ghosts of the other golden guards when he like returns to their graveyard, and they say nothing. He just tells him like to go away, to leave him alone. Now it's all like, it's your fault, I tried to save you. And then he goes back to see if there's just one Grimwalker left, one more, and we see an arm sticking out of the pile, and because we all know they're all based off Caleb, and Hunter is a Grimwalker based off of Caleb. So imagine like how terrifying it would have been for Hunter to see Bellows walking around in a body that almost identical to his. Like, ooh.
I wonder if that was an idea on the table at one point and they had to scrap it due to time.
Yeah, like like the scene, the first scene with Bellows ends with him jumping into the dirt with the Grimwalker body, and we see the arm sticking out twitch just a little bit. So you think, oh no, your mind starts racing at all the possibilities of what this could lead to. But then he tries to emerge from the dirt, but it's too late. The body was long since usable. It melts away, and that idea is just done and dealt with before we even like dive into it at all, which is a little disappointing. But I guess it would be a little strange to double dip into the whole Bellows controlling a Hunter lookalike when we just had Bellows Hunter in the last episode. So maybe it would have been double dipping, and they just wanted to give us like the curveball, the red herring, because what they did next is might be even juicier. So Bellows infiltrates the archives of the Collector, and at first we see him like towering over Odalia. And so we think, oh, it's like, is he going to possess Odalia? And like, is Amity gonna like feel somewhat conflicted about having to fight? Like, even though she has established that she doesn't really like her mother, is there gonna be like that one part of her that maybe, just maybe, she like can't bring herself to like to harm her, or like anything? Is like, once again, your mind is racing at the possibilities. But then Bellows is like, nah, bitch, move. Like, smacks her to one side, and then possesses the puppet of Rain. And you go, and we see this one is a success. He does control Rain, and you go, ooh. Now it's gonna get even juicier.
The parts where Bellows is talking to the Collector are so kino, because he literally walks into the Collector's room and I think tries to steal his book or whatever. And the Collector sees him and he's like, wait, puppets aren't supposed to move.
I don't think he's trying to steal the book. I think he was just like trying to kill him or something. Or maybe, if not kill, then maybe possess.
Yeah, that makes more sense. But yeah, the Collector sees him and he's like, wait, hold on. Puppets aren't supposed to move. And Bellows is like, actually, I've come to warn you. Things are about to go very wrong soon. You know, your plans are in the process of being undone. Things are going very, very astray in the Collector lands. You see, King? Yeah, you thought he was your friend? Bro, he is planning to kill you. He is planning to defeat you. Admittedly, this is a little, I guess, sort of related, but it's just kind of, all right. So for context, Ida and Lilith have not been turned into puppets, actually.
Specifically, Ida was never turned into a puppet. Lilith and Hootie were. Hootie technically still is a puppet, but just somehow regained his consciousness. And by the way, sentient puppet Five Nights at Freddy's Hootie is omega cursed.
Ida is literally like more disgusted with Hootie than ever upon seeing him as a puppet.
Yeah, hey, there's still maybe
I mean,
just
hey,
enough time for him to be the secret final boss after
he
all.
is the mega villain. I'm still on this theory.
He's already been defeated
he's
by the
so
Collector.
powerful.
Or is he just holding his power level back?
Listen, he has not been defeated by the Collector. You see him talk as a puppet, right? He is still in there. He is so powerful. Look, that's Hootie winning against the Collector. Hootie just won. The Collector's in the palm of Hootie's tube-like body.
Maybe if the Collector did something like, I don't know, kill Lilith in front of Hootie, then like Hootie would just, you know that scene in ReZero where when Amelia dies, like the familiar thing Puck just like turns into a monster.
Oh
and,
yeah.
Like, frees
oh,
the
Hootie's
world.
gonna do that.
Yeah, Hootie's gonna do that.
I'm calling it. Hootie is going to turn into the Joker. He is going to destroy the world. The Boiling Isle and its society, they're going to crumble under Hootie's reign. Not even the human world is safe from Hootie.
I mean, the very first note I have from this episode is Hootie Copter, which is... I can't remember if we had seen that before. I want to say we haven't, because I feel like I would have.
I don't think we have.
Copter.
Yeah, it feels like something I'd remember, and it's amazing. Hootie continually proving himself to be the most powerful character in fiction.
Yeah, this Saitama stands no chance. Lilith and Hootie did get turned into puppets. Because King Lizzo in the Collector's good favor, he was able to convince the Collector to reanimate Lilith, and then he wasn't able to do it with Hootie, but was Lilith's tears managed to like turn him into the Five Nights at Freddy's puppet. And speaking of Lilith, like, okay, first of all, short-haired Ida, big thumbs up. Big fan. Short-haired, orange-haired Lilith. Can we kill her? I'm rooting for her to die now, just so I don't have to look at it anymore.
I mean, I definitely prefer her with the long black hair. Although, I guess by default, I just like it when character designs change, so... I guess on that level, I kind of enjoy it.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Ida's new design. I love how much she's owning the whole one arm thing. It's like they haven't even tried to like replace it with like a prosthetic or anything. She just is walking around with one arm, but it's still like the same like goofy like wisecracking witch that we've seen throughout the whole show. Literally the first thing that she does to try to like keep her like the comedic mood up, or just to like play into the sick joke, is pretend to be like a lifeless puppet, where when King walks up to her and just goes bleh.
Yeah, Ida's awesome as always. And so what's been going on is that Lilith, she cracked the code. She figured out how to make the elixir that stops Ida from turning into the Owl Beast. So, good on her. And then she's been doing
by the way, when Harpy Ida is flying up towards the Collector, and then like the Owl Beast starts to like emerge from like the form of the Harpy Ida, and then we see like the Collector like immediately warp over to her, be like, "Hey, you look fun, wanna play?" And then Ida goes completely feral. You know that wasn't Ida, because if you remember from knocking on Hootie's door, the Owl Beast had a run-in with the Collector, and that's why the Beast is a curse. So that wasn't Ida. That was the Owl Beast being like, "Oh, it's motherfucking payback time."
I didn't pick up on that, but now that you mention it, that is awesome.
Yeah, that was the first clip that I saw of the episode when it got leaked. And I was like, because I thought they had just released like the first 2 minutes of the episode as like a teaser. And when I saw that, I was like, ooh, I'm excited.
But anyway, Lilith has been doing some research, and apparently Titan Screams are the key to defeating the Collector. It's just kind of dumped on you. Just sort of thrown out there. But yeah, we know how to defeat the Collector now, I guess. Yippee.
Well, it was established that the Titan, specifically King's father, was the one that put the Collector in that trap, in that like imprisonment to begin with. So maybe,
yeah, that is true. But
speaking of which, we also find out like more about the Collector's race and origin. They are in fact pretty much aliens. So they're aliens from whatever like planet or whatever. But what they do is that they're called collectors because they collect different species, and according to the Collector's book that King reads, they do it for the sake of preservation. And it reminded me a lot of you might not be familiar with this, but the villain Brainiac from the DC Comics, who kind of does a very similar thing. He collects pieces of planets and races for his collection to make sure he's like the most smartest, knowledgeable person in the universe, because knowledge is power, and if he has access to all the knowledge and no one else does, he'd be the smartest. I imagine maybe the Collector's race operates on some similar logic, but what we do know is that they collect, and should a race try to intervene in their collecting, then they've made it their goal to be like, all right, we're gonna destroy them, and we're gonna destroy their planet.
And then the Collector has literally scribbled out lines from the book and has written in, but actually all of that doesn't matter. We just want to, have fun and play with
well,
people.
Not a we thing. It's a him thing. Like,
well, yeah, a him thing.
For whatever reason, the Collector that we know is has no interest in like collecting and doing what his race wants to do. He just wants to play and have fun, which. Now that I'm thinking about it, it might tie into our hero after all. Because you know how Bellows is kind of like the anti-Luz. Maybe this will tie into like how Luz wanted to be accepted, but had all these different expectations, and society deemed her a weirdo and judged her before like and not letting her express her true selves. Maybe the Collector that we know had the same thing happen to him, but he just is like too young or didn't have like the maybe parental guidance or authority figures in his life to like rein him in. And now, since he has all this unchecked godly power, he can be like, all right, well, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and y'all can eat shit.
That doesn't. I feel like you're probably pretty close to the truth there. And hey, maybe they'll be able to knock the Collector's character out of the park in this final episode. Maybe now that we've built up to this.
My powers of media analysis grow ever stronger.
Mine shrink every passing day, unfortunately.
So this all now ties back into our gang, the squad. They've returned to the demon realm. But not before Luz sees someone in the weird space between realms that we've known, like the weird dark green goop world, and that's the only time they ever bring it up, and they're definitely gonna bring it up in the final episode. To me, it looked like King, but we know King's not there, and he looked too big to be King.
Oh,
it's fucking King's dad. Dude, that's absolutely King's dad in there. Maybe he's not as dead as we thought.
He's gonna come back for the final episode.
He came back with the milk after all.
And so after that, I already brought up the scene where the Collector turns everyone, or rather it's revealed that he has turned everyone into puppets. And then we get brought to Hexside, New Hexside as it's called, with the newly dubbed Mantholomew. I love that.
That was a good cringe humor joke.
The faces I have in my notes, and somewhere along the way I went from being Matholomew to Mantholomew, then an asterisk visceral agony as the
Yeah,
rest
like,
of the cast just looks on in horror.
Plain disgust, the live Amity reaction of just her being like just cringing. The cringe is real and it is very strong.
And the new Hexside is basically Hexside, but chaos. Everyone's just doing what they want. There's some sort of order. Basha and her new sidekick, who is at first, seems to be a new character, but Arhem, that is not a new character. That is someone we are well acquainted with, but we'll get to that. And Basha's been leading the place and keeping order and trying to keep everyone safe. But for the most part, it's just people messing around, doing whatever they want. The little kids are running around, causing trouble. They made this statue dedicated to Principal Bump, and it's him riding a skateboard, which I loved. It's incredible. Another hilarious joke that I am objectively a bad person for laughing my ass off at this. Amity's brother is in a full body cast. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I love how he does the Dwayne the Rock Johnson thing from like Fast and Furious, where he busts out of the cast just to give Amity a hug. And
all the while in deep pain.
Yeah, it was nice to see them again. What's going on in Hexside is Basha is pretty much running it into the ground. It's there's no order. The gang is trying to figure out ways to round up this rebellion so that maybe they can all band together, raid the Collector, and free their friends and family. And so, in order to do this, they need a way to get into the archive without being seen by the Collector or his roaming star drone things. So what they do in a great moment of viewer rewarding of long-time viewership, they bust out the memory tweezers from season 1, and because Luz is like, hey, when I went back in time in season 2, Bellows made this teleportation glyph to reach the Collector, but I don't remember exactly what it looks like off the top of my head, but I have seen it. So if we use the memory tweezers, we can pull it out, see the picture of it, and then recreate it, and then we can get into the archive.
That was very clever. I did like how they used that to get to the Collector. But not as all well with this plan, because as it turns out, they've been discovered. They're real by Basha's sidekick, who was revealed to be, I actually forgot her name and I feel so bad for it. Kikimora, yeah. Kikimora has found them. She has been Basha's sidekick this entire time, and she is out for revenge.
I mean, but why though? I get that. I guess
she wants
she's
to
rule,
just that petty. She's just a power.
She already
petty.
turned on Bellows by introducing the one thing that could possibly beat him and can undo the draining spell. So I would think that maybe she had that would be her act of, I don't know, reformation or anything, or realizing that, hey, maybe all of this working for this tyrant was a waste of time. But no, she's like, yeah, I'm just gonna insert myself as the tyrant now, and people have to listen to me. It's it's not the most compelling motivation or character arc, but I guess they needed an antagonist. What bothered me though was just how willing Basha was able to just go along with letting her attempt to kill losing the gang.
Yeah. She is just kind of okay with Kikimora going
Basha's
ham on
a bitch,
them.
but she's never wanted to kill Luz, I don't think. She wanted to beat her up in Grudgeby, but I think that was it. She never wanted to kill her or kill Willow.
Yeah.
It all in the name of just trying to impress like Amity or like win Amity back. Like, what is the logic here? Killing Amity's girlfriend to win her back? Like it would be. See, that's the thing about this rush job. I feel like if
I
they
was
want to
about
play up
to get
this,
to that.
yeah,
I
I
really feel like
if they wanted
they
to play up the yandere angle of this, like it's all the human's fault. If I get rid of the human, maybe Amity will come back, and everything will
I
go back to
feel
the way
like
it
there's
used
a
to be.
version of the script where Basha probably does like the same set of actions, but we get more insight into her motivations. And so then it's understandable that when she goes that far, and it's like, oh, like that's completely messed up, bro, but I also kind of see why you're doing it. But also, I'm totally not on your side, but I want you to reform.
Yeah, it's like I wouldn't be on her side for it, but I would at least understand the thought process, as fucked up as it would be. Here, I'm trying to like fit the pieces together in my head. Like, how does step one, kill the my old friend's girlfriend? Step two, profit.
You
Where
know,
I feel like there's a big jump in logic there.
when I was watching that part of the episode in particular, I was feeling pretty neutral on it. But now that I'm like actually talking about it with you in the podcast, I'm realizing that that's the issue in it.
It's the
If the
wasted
show had more
potential.
time, I would want
And like,
Basha to reform.
I,
But the fact that
I
I didn't really care is just kind of a testament as to how, oh, there's so much more exploration that could have been done here, but just
And
isn't.
it's like I don't hold too much of this against the crew. I know a lot of this is due to the fault of Disney. But like at the end of the day, this is what I'm being presented with, and so this is what I have to. This is what I can make the judgment calls on. I can only react to what is being presented in front of me, and this is the reaction I am having.
The rat strikes back, crawling out from its dumpster with an angry expression.
We see glimpses into like this possible timeline too, and like there's two moments that stuck out the most to me in the scene between Basha and Amity when she tries to like come crawling back to her. There's one part where like as Amity brushes her off the first time, be like, "Yeah, I don't have time for this. I gotta go help my friends." She physically like grabs her and keeps her from leaving, and Amity says that, "Hey, Basha, stop, you're hurting me." And like that's a great aspect to see, like how Basha is like so determined and like wanting to get Amity back that that Amity's consent is not even a factor to her, just to like show how messed up she is. And then when Matholomew, or should I say Mantholomew, uses an illusion trick to turn himself into Amity to fool Basha, and Basha immediately, almost kind of like in a clingy panic, is like, where's Amity? She didn't leave again, did she? Like, she doesn't want to be left alone again. We that little moment of weakness that she has, it's like such an enticing glimpse into who Basha like truly is. And we only get those tiny little licks, those tiny samples of the tasting of what could have been, and then that's it. That's all we get.
These are they're mere drops from the rat feeder of what could have been, and that is very sad.
Of the rat's little water container drink thing. In a rat cage, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say, but I have no idea how to officially
I don't know
refer
what it's
to
actually
it.
called, the water tank, whatever. Yeah, that's a big disappointment. But I will say, all of that leads into two moments that are very much Kino. First moment,
I know exactly what you're talking about because they were the two moments that I really woke up for and was like, whoa, well, I'm glued to the screen now.
Yeah, all throughout this episode, we're finally getting it, boys. It's been long overdue. We're getting Willow character development.
And very, very interesting, a very interesting look into her character, where I think it's the first time in a long time that we've had her like her eyes glow green, and she's like, due to her emotions. If you remember, her introduction scene way back in season 1 was her getting mad at being bullied by Amity, and her eyes glow green, and she starts, having these vines spurt up all over the place. And we're calling back to that as Willow has basically like, she is emotionally breaking down. So her through line in this episode really is that she is putting on a strong face for the team and trying to basically be the glue that holds the team together, the optimistic, strong one. She is trying her absolute hardest to not break down and being strong for everyone else. But
that glue
as
is
it
starting
goes
to melt.
on, it is. It's very clear watching the episode that she is not okay, absolutely not okay. And that comes to a head when she basically like locks herself up in this like cage of vines all around her. And at first she's like so stuck in her own head that she doesn't even realize it, but she realizes it. She's like, oh wait, no, okay, hold on, I need to destroy these. And it's like she can't retract them. She tries breaking them apart, but they won't go away. And Gus and Hunter are with her, and they start wrapping around Gus to the point where he gets like completely submerged in them, and she just can't break them apart. She's like, no, I can do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, everything is wrong, I'm just half a witch Willow. And Hunter's like, no, don't call yourself that. When you call yourself half a witch, I feel like half a witch.
Willow must be protected at all costs.
Yeah,
and Hunter thinks so too, which is why he unlocks his inner Chad energy with the help of the ghost of Flapjack, and accesses his super speedy boy powers to break her free.
Turns
talk
into
her
Sonic
down
the
from
Hedgehog.
His inner Sonic fan. That's the inner Sonic fan inside us all, and is able to talk her down from her self-doubt, and to encourage her, just, it's okay, you don't have to be strong for us all the time, you can let it all out, it's okay, we don't judge you, we love you. And like, she just lets it all out. She's able to control her power. From what Luz says, she looks like she gets stronger because of it, and is able to like use her powers to even greater effect. But I didn't really pick up on that, because it looks like she's just doing the same thing she always was doing before. Maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention that time.
I get what you're referring to. I didn't notice a significant upgrade either, but I mean, at least what I was interpreting it as is, they're being, or rather mostly fixating on Hunter's new power. And I guess Willow also just being cool with her powers. Whatever. Yeah, when Willow said, in like a tearful voice, I miss my dads, I like to imagine that the rat had a seizure inside its cage and finally died and went to hell. The rat is just decimated at this point. There is nothing left of it. He is merely a speck on the ground.
So that's that Kino moment. And then the other one, the best in the episode, the one that almost made me, it didn't hit me as hard as the one where Luz tells Hunter that he's family, and then Hunter starts breaking down. It's not quite as good, but it's nonetheless a very strong emotional moment. Almost like the completion of Luz's entire character arc. Now that like, as she's trying to fight against Kikimora, she's like breaking down again, being too hard on herself, saying everything's all her fault, and still telling her mom that she's sticking with her plan of staying in the human realm once all this is over.
Which, by the way, I know I'm cutting in here, but I love the role reversal where in episode 10 of season 2, Luz's mom is like, bro, you're getting your ass back here in the human realm as soon as possible. And now, as of season 3, it's Luz's mom consoling Luz and be like, no, you don't need to stay in the human realm forever. This place is awesome, bro. And Luz is like, no, I've made my choice. I'm never coming back here. I'm staying in the human realm. I messed everything up. I gave Belos that glyph, and I'm never gonna forgive myself for it.
Yeah, but Camilla's able to talk her down, tell her that, hey, Luz, listen, it's okay to be who you are. You know, it was a mistake on my end to try and like change who you are because I thought it'd make you happy because I got bullied when I was your age for being a weird nerd kid, and I didn't want you to go through the same, same kind of issues. But then here we are with in now that we've Camilla's laid it all out and revealed to Luz that she was a secret nerd, and no doubt her dad was like a secret nerd with her, or maybe not. I mean, he maybe wasn't a secret nerd, maybe he was just a nerd, and then she just was able to confide in him. They probably because we found out in episode 1 they have a shared love for the Star Trek thing. And all while Camilla's like telling Luz everything that she wants to hear. And like Luz is like her lips quivering, the tears are starting to flow down, like, ooh, it's hitting hard. And then Luz says that she finally gets it now. And like more than even wanting to be a witch, more than wanting to you know, live in a magic fantasy world, all that was just window dressing. That was surface level bullshit. All she ever wanted was to be understood. And this really beautiful shot of her looking up, like it's almost like starry eyed. And with that, her Palisman egg finally hatches.
I think the line that she wants to be understood is just such a powerful ending to not even just her character arc, but one of the show's major themes. Because from the beginning, as early as episode 1, the entire show has kind of been predicated on this theme of creativity and expressing yourself, where the entire reason she goes to the Boiling Islands is because she was going to go to this super conformy school that would turn her into a normal girl, when in actuality she just wants to be able to express yourself. And a lot of creativity and self-expression is used as a means to be understood, because that makes the world a far less lonely place. And Luz being so lonely after her dad's death and not really able to communicate with people very well uses self-expression, even very dangerous self-expression and stuff that like disturbs the peace at her high school. But nonetheless, it's a form of self-expression and trying to get people to see like, hey, look, I have like this manic creative energy. Look at me, understand it, see what I'm all about. Right? And that's sort of, now that she said that line, it very much, I guess in a sense, recontextualizes everything that has come before, and I think wraps the theme up in this very nice bow. Very, very mucho good scene.
Everybody wants to find a place where they belong, and it just so happened that where Luz felt that she belonged was in magical hell demon world. But hey, at least they understood her there.
And her Palisman gets revealed, and it's a snake shifter.
Yeah, I feel like okay, maybe I'm just not remembering everything. Was the term snake shifter used in the show at any point at all, like before this episode?
Oh, before this episode? No. Not that I remember.
Okay, because I was like, wait, why is she saying snake shifter like she knows what that is?
Yeah.
What I thought it was just gonna be when I saw transforming, I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, it's like a chimera. It's like a little bit of everything, kind of like how she wanted to learn every magic track and wants to like to be all of these different things and have all this like creative energy to express, and how she wanted her Palisman egg to like choose whatever it wants to be. I thought, oh, okay, I Chimera would be the perfect thing. But no, she says snake shifter so matter of factly, like I I don't
I mean, I
remember.
guess it. All right, so in the lead-in to the Palisman emerging, it's like Luz sort of already knows what it is, and I assume she got like some sort of sense or vision in her mind as to what it could be, and maybe that's where she gets the term snake shifter from. You're
And
not wrong to question it.
I was just I
But
found it very weird because I do not remember any snake shifters like showing up in the show or even the word snake shifter being used in the show at all.
I don't
Like
think it has before this point.
maybe if it was like a basilisk, because like we've already established that basilisks can turn into whatever they want, or I don't know. Maybe they can turn. I know they can turn into people, but I don't know if they can turn into like other animals. I don't know if they can go that far, but
I mean, I guess there's no reason why they couldn't in the context of the Owl House universe.
yeah, I just find it weird. But whatever. It's not a big deal. Although I will say, when the official promotional material of the show came out, like official clips and sneak peeks came out, they teased a glowing light around Luz's staff, or where the Palisman would rest, and man, I can't. I like as cute as String Bean, the snake shifter, is. I kind of prefer the idea of Luz just having a galaxy for her Palisman.
To be fair, that would be kinda awesome.
Like it's like, hey,
I mean, hey, you could contrive that into symbolism. Her brain reaches like the far reaches of the galaxy with its
she
creativity.
becomes literally so galaxy brained. Her Palisman matches her level of intelligence. But like, or in a more serious one, like, hey, like the universe is infinite, so you can like full of like infinite possibilities. So let's have this. My Palisman is the very like concept of infinity. It could be like I don't know. I'm just
Now you want to
spitballing
know
here,
what her
but I-
Palisman should have been? It should have been the same kind of spider from the very first episode of the show that she brought to school.
Oh yeah, it should have been the griffin with anatomically correct spider breath, and that's how she beats
Absolutely,
Bellows.
yeah. That would be. You know, I brought that up as a joke, but now that I think about it, that would be awesome.
The scene writes itself. Like she's got Bellows down and be like, "Surrender, Bellows. I am the good witch, loose warrior of peace.
and it's
now
like
eat
her...
this sucker." And then the Palisman spits out the spiders.
Bro, that would be such a cool scene. You know, once again, I brought that up as a joke, but now I kind of want it.
I mean, episode 3 is absolutely 100% without question going to end with a "now eat this sucker" moment. we had it in season 1, we had it in season 2. It's inevitable.
I wonder if Luz will indeed LARP as the good witch Azula while taking on the Collector.
This
Or
motherfucker
Bellows.
said Azula.
Or did I get it wrong?
It's Azura.
Az-
You said the name of an Avatar character.
I haven't even seen Avatar, so I don't even know how I got that wrong.
Don't worry, it's on the imaginary podcast list. The backlog of maybe we'll do a podcast on this one day.
Not on the official one, but I guess in the back of our minds.
And with that, Kiki Moore's defeated. They complete the glyph. They teleport into the archive. There's this really fucking cute moment between Hunter and Willow where Willow locks her pinky finger with Hunter's. And
Oh yeah,
says that,
Huntlo's real.
Yeah, Huntlo is fucking real, boys. She says, "You mean a lot to me too." They blush. He cries a little. They touch hands. They're kissing by the end of the final episode, bro. Huntlo Chads are gonna win in the end.
There's also the moment where Hunter literally catches Willow as she's falling in midair. Very based, very based.
Yeah, she blushes when they land.
I thought that was adorable.
Together. Yeah, and but now Collector with Bellows as Rain, still feeding into his insecurities, being like, "Hey, look, Luz the human is here now to put a stop to your plans. What are you gonna do, Collector?" And the Collector goes, "I think I want to play a new game." Snaps fingers, cut to black, end of the episode.
And then the new game OP started playing.
Yeah, and then Alba herself just came in and just started
They watched New Game together, and that's the entire final episode.
Yeah, he magicked New Game Season 3 into existence. And that's the end of For the Future. Not quite as good as Thanks to Them, but still a very exciting episode. Like, I cannot be bored watching The Owl House. I am hyper alert and like in a state of being that is, I just don't get the same feeling when I watch literally anything else.
I wouldn't say I was hyper alert necessarily the entire time, although there were certainly moments.
Well,
Willow breaking down.
I wasn't hyper alert in the sense of like the episode was so good that it made me hyper alert, but when I am presented with, hey, here is the next episode of The Owl House, which is ending in 2 episodes, by the way, I'm already predisposed to be like, okay, I'm giving this 110,000% of my attention. It's
whenever you watch The Owl House, you just reach an ascended state of being.
I reach
Nirvana.
The Avatar state. Yeah, because it's that feeling you get when you're watching your favorite thing, and it's like, hey, it's a new installment of my favorite thing. Even more so than any anime. Like, even we didn't watch Bochi week to week, but even like watching it for the podcast, I was never like, oh boy, I'm like, yeah, I was sad that Bochi's over for right now, and I would be ecstatic if there were a season 2. But man, there's just that feeling of watching a show week to week, as long form as The Owl House, and then seeing that like new episode come out, be like, oh, like here it is, it's time for a new episode of my show. I got that feeling.
Now that you're mentioning that, I do kind of want to do that for a show someday, of something that airs for a decent amount of time and that I just keep up with it every single week. Because thus far, every single time I've tried to watch a show weekly, I fall off and inevitably have to binge like a few episodes at once.
Yeah, I did not have to do that for Owl House. I started watching right when season 1 ended, marathoned it, loved it. Season 2, even better. You all know the story already.
Assuming they watched the previous podcasts, which
odds are they didn't. Statistically speaking.
And with that,
we have covered every episode of The Owl House on the podcast but one, the final episode. If let's see, the last episode came out in October, right?
October, that
was
might
it September or October?
I don't really remember, but around that time. So
yeah, all right. It came out in the fall. This came out in the winter. So going by this pattern, we can expect the final episode maybe in April, in spring, sometime in spring, maybe even summer. Who knows?
Well, we can only hope that it's a fitting
there are only
finale
2
for
things
the
of Owl House content that I'm looking forward to. That are remain. Tomorrow, there's going to be, at the time of this recording, it's going to be out by the time this podcast goes up. There's going to be a chibi short by Disney of an Amphibia Owl House crossover that's going to last for all of 2 minutes, and I'm going to lap it up like the fanboy that I am.
Oh, those are gonna be the best 2 minutes of your life, Neon Man. To get better prepared.
Yeah, they're not even gonna have
dialogue.
dialogue.
It's all downhill from here.
They're not even gonna have dialogue. They're just gonna like make faces at each other, and I'm gonna cry and call it peak Kino Fire. And then, of course, the final episode. It's gonna be sad. I feel like I was a little sad when Amphibia ended because I really liked that show, but I do not like Amphibia the same way that I adore the Owl House. Like, this is up there with Steven Universe as one of my favorite cartoons of all time, and something that I have poured in like so much amount of my time and energy and love into, that it has reciprocated by just being a great show with a great community, and sharing that experience with the community has been a great time. And when it's all over, I'm gonna be like, well, that's like an era of my life that is done now. It's gonna be Steven Universe ending all over again.
Well, that may all be true, but I must say, though, the Owl House does pale in comparison to one other show that I can think of, and that is How the Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom.
the true goat of goats.
You think the Owl House can even approach the majesty that is Realist Hero? Like,
Nah,
come on.
Fucking Owl House, Bochi, trash, throw him in the dumpster, fucking put him in the anime girl torture execution laser chamber gif. Realist Hero, the peak of all that has ever was, has been, ever will be.
There is no greater protagonist than the Kazuya Soma. I don't have that memorized. I pulled up the AniList page.
I was gonna say, no fucking way you memorize his name. Yeah, you are more dedicated to the bit than I am. You could put 1,000 guns to my head, and I would not be able to tell you even remotely what his name would be. I would not tell you what the first letter of his name started with.
Such great female characters as Licia Elfrieden.
More like Alfwiedischen to that show, because I don't want to watch it. But if you want to watch a good show like The Owl House or this podcast, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more episodes of the podcast, leave a like to the video, and head on down to the comments. Tell us how much you're going to be sad that The Owl House is going to be gone, and how off the rails this outro got.
We're very good at beginning and ending podcasts, in case you couldn't tell.
Hey, no. See, we're matching the Owl House right now. It's all like thematically appropriate, because similar to how the Owl House is like rushing in a way to conclude in a satisfying way, we gotta rush this podcast to conclude this whole manner of references to previous episodes and our show's history all in one go. And have it still be satisfying, which I guess it's open to viewer interpretation.
Watch our other things. Remember, I do have a gun to your mother's head right now. You can ask her.
You can't ask her anymore now that she's dead.
Well, yeah, ask her while you still can.
And with that, I think that'll do her for this episode of Castaway Anime. There's only one episode of Owl House left. Owlcast will come to an end, and that's gonna be a sad day for everyone, so be there.
We'll be able to celebrate the end of our longest series on this podcast, and our least viewed.
Yeah, and our least popular, until we... I don't know, maybe we can turn it all around if we cover every episode of Bluey. I feel like the market for that one is weirdly, incredibly strong for some reason.
Is it? Would anyone really watch a Bluey podcast from us?
Maybe not. The from us part would be the hardest sell, but I guarantee you right now, the prospect of a Bluey podcast, people would be into it.
To be fair,
people
the show is
weirdly into Bluey.
You'd be hating it on it, so we'd get dislike bombed.
I never said I hated Bluey on social media.
You said you were mid on it.
I never even said that. I was like, this is a good show for children. I am not a child.
Exactly. Do you think a Bluey fan is going to be able to stomach that?
A Bluey fan is not old enough to comment cohesive sentences on their keyboard, so I'll be fine.
Hey, remember when this outro was about the Owl House? I remember those days long ago.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm just trying to cope, man. Let me huff my copium of the Owl House ending. I just had to bury Amphibia last year. Just let me be at peace, God damn it.
He doesn't want the podcast to end.
Yeah, well, now, much like the Owl House, all good things must come to an end, including this episode of Castaway Anime. So, that'll do her. I'm Neon Manta.
And I'm Empty Danish.
And you'll see us next time, and for the Owl House, for the last time.
Good night.